Hello, students, and we've made it to the end. This will be my final video to you, and you are cut free from this class, anyways. Some of you might be in some 8-week or second 4-week classes, but the I graded all the submissions that were submitted over the weekend, and final grades are now turned into Lionnet. And I had said previously that I had until today at 9 or 10 a.m. to have them in, but I don't. They're not formally due in the registrar's office until Thursday. So I'm asking all of you to visit the My Grades area. You'll see your total points, which you can compare in the syllabus to the percentages for the grades, but the easiest way is to just look at your running percentage there. That'll give you a percentage, and your grade is awarded on the standard 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. That standard scale. So you'll be able to tell your final grade from your final percentage there. Now, if there are any errors, I'm here in the office today and tomorrow, and then I'm leaving for vacation, so I won't be accessible. So please have a look at your My Grades today, and if you see any errors, please email me and let me know. Now, probably the only error I can think of happening is that if there was something wrong with a submission, and then you emailed me the work, and then I didn't get it into the grade book. That does happen. So if there's anything like that, let me know. Any concerns you have about your grades, let me know today or tomorrow so we can work through any problems before I leave for vacation at the end of the day tomorrow, Tuesday. All right. That being said, this class really did wonderfully. Normally I have a pretty even distribution of grades across the spectrum, and this class was very heavily tilted towards the A's and B's, and so I don't know. I'm really pleased. This is the first time I've taught this in a 4-week format, and I was concerned that students would fall behind and then not get caught up, but that really didn't seem to happen. So maybe it's the case to where we can really kind of apply ourselves for a 4-week sprint. Regardless, thank you all for your hard work and your dedication and doing the reading and doing the writing and getting your work turned in on time and earning this credit that you need to graduate. So, and best of luck to all of you as you continue on towards your degrees. As you know, my name is Scott Snell. I'm the Director of Distance Learning here at Missouri Southern, and please contact me if you ever have any questions or concerns as a distance student, because if I don't know the answer, I can certainly put you in contact with someone who does. So remember, I'm I'm a good contact for you as a distance student, and you can contact me with any problems you might be having. I wanted to follow up on 2 of the assignments that you did quickly. The critical thinking discussion board, I don't think I read a single one of you that actually mentioned one of the critical thinking, the types, the academic types, the academic definitions or categories of critical thinking. And I'm not going to go into detail into that right now, but I was a little disappointed because there are probably 8, 9, 10 different types of critical thinking that it really does. It benefits you to become aware of them. It helps you to identify when you are and when you are not thinking critically. So I encourage you to return to chapter 5. That's the critical thinking chapter, and have a look at that list of types of critical thinking. They're very interesting and something for you to ponder. Now, the article that we read, I thought was a fantastic article because what this person noticed was that you had 2 different historical authors that drew different conclusions from the exact same facts. And I think that in a nutshell is just a great example of being compelled to think critically, because if there is one set of facts and 2 people can have arrive at different conclusions from those facts, that is a glimpse into our reality. It's the lack of black and white. It's all gray. So much of it is based on our personal experience and how we see events around us. So I really loved that article, and I was really glad that I found it, and I was really pleased at how all of you did answering those questions. You got exactly from it what I wanted you to get. Now that leads me into there's a lengthier lesson that I've taught on critical thinking in the past, and I want to touch on it briefly with you, and I'm going to share a video that I share with my classes in my final announcement. It has to do with the inherent fear many of us have of being exposed to ideas that are radically different from what we are familiar with and comfortable with. And that fear is that if we open our mind to acceptance, then that diminishes our moral or ethical code. It changes us. And so there is a fear there that exposure can harm us and erode who we are. And I want to tell you that it's valid, but I've never seen and I've never experienced negative change from exposure and acceptance of different viewpoints. There is an argument against a kind of exposure, and it's called moral relativism. And what that moral relativism means is that if all things are okay, then nothing's wrong. And it kind of cuts to the heart of accepting, acknowledging viewpoints other than your own, does away with all moral codes. It's moral relativism, and I'm sure I'm just not doing a good job of explaining it, but I encourage you to kind of Google moral relativism and give it a read. But my point for bringing that up is personally, I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe there are negative consequences to exposure and learning and seeking, and I encourage everyone to not be afraid. Learning, understanding, accepting other viewpoints does not change who you are. That's my personal experience, and it is an enriching experience. So it changes you in a positive way. And I wouldn't say this to you person to person if I didn't believe it. There was a junior high student when we were teaching evolution I was a junior high teacher, and during Darwin's chapter, she put her fingers in her ears and went la 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 la. And that's an example of what I'm talking about. The fear, like I don't want to hear it. If I'm exposed to it, if I accept it, I'm afraid that it will change me. It'll erode my moral or ethical codes. And I don't believe that to be true. It enriches you. It enriches us as a person. It does not change us. It doesn't erode our moral ethical codes. Our moral ethical codes stay intact. And I think it's a dangerous message to send to people that learning, being exposed to, even seeking to understand and accept different viewpoints will erode who you are. That's a dangerous message. And I will go on record as saying that I don't believe it's the case. So please don't be afraid to be open-minded. Don't be afraid to fully experience this liberal arts education and explore ideas, because it does not negatively affect people. It enriches people. So enough of that. The final thing quickly here was the Title IX exercise, and that's a new exercise I created this summer, and I thought it was really cool, And I was really happy with your answers because, again, you were digging into the documents and pulling out the information that I wanted you to have. And so, one, what I wanted you to become aware of is that Title IX complaints are very common, and I think it's something that we're not aware of unless we've been involved in them. And so I wanted everyone to kind of be exposed to the fact that a lot goes on with sexual harassment, sexual assault in some cases, intimate partner violence, and the other category there. So it is something that goes on. We're just not aware of it. So I wanted you to be aware of that. And secondly, I thought it was interesting that most of the people, once they've had an initial sit down with someone, they don't want to pursue anything further. And I thought that was interesting. Just something for you to think about. I don't know the reasons why, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I thought that was interesting. And the final thing I thought was interesting was the most extreme, the most severe consequence handed out was termination of employment, which most of you did see that, and it was a staff member. And I thought that was interesting because I don't know all the details of all the cases, but a staff member was fired for an infraction. But with faculty members, different consequences were handed out, and that may mean nothing, but I find it interesting that the most severe consequence was handed out to his staff, and other accommodations were handed out when faculty were involved. So I thought that was interesting, and I don't know what it means. But anyways, thank you for your participation on that assignment. And with that, I'm going to sign off, and I want to thank you all for being with me this short 4 weeks. And thank you for your course feedback. A lot of great constructive criticism and suggestions for improvement, and I really, really appreciate that. So I'm available today and tomorrow if there are any concerns, but your final grades are posted, and I will talk to you soon. Well, maybe not. Thanks for being here, and maybe see you around. If you're ever on campus, Webster Hall 109 is my room. Bye-bye.